to join. Carefully here. So what we discussed yesterday, so we discussed about the cluster. So how we can create a, what we did, we created a cluster. So what we did, we understood basically what I said. AKS is one of the deployment platform where we can deploy our containerized application in the form of a pod, because pod is abstraction over container, smallest unit in Kubernetes. What I'm saying, Shiri? What about now? What about now? Is it okay? Just confirm me once, please. Voice. Yeah. Now it's okay, right? Okay. Yeah. Not okay. Still lesser. Okay. Just confirm me once now. Still less. Okay. Just a second then. Just a second. Let me reconnect then. Okay. Okay. So what I'm saying, yesterday what I said AKS is one of the deployment platform where we will deploy our containers, where we will deploy the containers inside the pod, because pod is abstraction over container. Basically, pod is providing deployment platform to deploy our containerized application. But of course, you knows how we are going to deploy. There will be so many components which will be created, like deployment, replica set, services, and we are going to create same separate namespace. If we want to define PVs, or if we want to define persistence volume claim for our containerized application that we are running within the pod, that we can do. We understood this? Then what I'm saying, in AKS, certain point you need to remember here in AKS. See what we are going to create. We are going to create a agent pool. We are going to create a agent pool. Agent pool is nothing but a combination of a master node and worker node pool. Agent pool is nothing but a combination of a master node pool and a worker node pool. So master node pool and worker node pool. What I said yesterday, I was taking something like, so what I was taking about a 4B CPU, 2B CPU. So what I was taking 4B, 2B CPU and 8 GB of RAM, random access memory here. I was taking this memory, right? As I was taking this memory here, please understand, in AKS cluster, if I'm talking about in AKS cluster, there is one inbuilt thing. What inbuilt thing we have? We have inbuilt thing, we can scale, either we can create resources, means we can create our server manually. We can create our cluster 2B CPU, means if I'm saying number of node equal to 2, so manually means it will stay 2. If there will be heavy workload, what will happen? It will not scale up. And second option, what we have a scaling here. We can do a scalability scaling here. Automatically, your number of servers will, your number of server will increase, or number of, can I say, number of worker node or master node as per requirement will increase or decrease. Scaling. But what I said yesterday, I gave you people calculation. What do you need to remember? Under free tier, how many CPU we have? 4B CPUs. If you are going outside this, if you are putting scaling for 2 to 5, So 2 to 5 node, maximum number of node are becoming how many? Maximum number of node are becoming 5 and maximum number of core are becoming 10. So under free tier, you are allowed only 1. You are allowed only 4. So in this case, what will happen? Your core will, your AKS will fail, right? Your AKS will fail. This is what we need to understand. And another thing here, what is another noticeable thing here? Another noticeable thing is monitoring is by default configure here. Monitor. Now here, who is providing monitor here? Azure Monitor. Azure Monitor is providing, what I'm saying, Azure Monitor is providing monitoring by default for Kubernetes cluster or all Kubernetes services. What is special here in monitoring section? Prometheus and Grafana. What I'm saying, Prometheus and Grafana monitoring are by default here. But of course, if you want to configure those, you can configure those. You have to enable that. You have to enable that monitoring. And what is the advantage here? Prometheus and Grafana monitoring are inbuilt here. That is another takeaway which you need to understand. Please understand, master node and worker node will be created on a master node and worker node will be created on a server or a virtual machine, right? So for that we have auto scaling. There we have a scaling option. Automatically it will take care as per workload. That comes with a huge advantage. We no need to increase or decrease the underlying structure, if I says. So this is what we need to understand from here. And another takeaway from here is patching. If I says patching is also, if I says patching, patching is a huge advantage. What do you mean by patching? In general, patching is nothing but updates. Updation. If I say updation, you are updating your, what updation I'm saying? You are doing update. Update about what? Software packages, right? What here patching means? Patching your underlying cluster. Patching is nothing but patching your underlying cluster here. Patching your underlying cluster. So who is providing this patching? So underline cloud is providing patching thing here. So this is what we need to notice from here. These are some of the takeaway which we need to understand from here. Then what I am doing today, we are creating a cluster here. Today what we are doing, we are creating a cluster here. On that cluster, see on that cluster what I have a microservices. What I have, we have a microservices. So those microservices, if I say microservices application, we will deploy. So what is today's scenario here? Today's scenario is nothing but whatever the microservices application we have, we will deploy into the cluster called AKS. We will use Azure Kubernetes Service Cluster. On that cluster, we will deploy the microservices. But this microservices, now here, let's take example here. What I'm saying, now of course, these microservices will be hosted in one of the source code management and in one of the source code management. And now whose responsibility will be to manage the resources? See what I need. If I want to deploy resources into AKS, what I need many YAML manifest. What I need YAML manifest. And whose responsibility to create this YAML manifest? Can I say cluster is nothing but a infrastructure? Cluster is nothing but a infrastructure. Cluster is nothing but a, so cluster is nothing but a infrastructure. Structure CRA, okay, it's okay. So what I'm saying, cluster is nothing but a infrastructure, right? So cluster is nothing but a infrastructure here, right? Doing spelling error. Okay, I'm just putting infra. So what I'm saying here, cluster is doing a infrastructure because parallelly whenever you are typing here, right? So your mind is also thinking parallelly about the topic and you are thinking about typing as well. So means there is a two thing here parallelly going in your mind. What I'm saying, whenever you are talking about cluster here, cluster is nothing but creating an infrastructure. Whenever you are creating an infrastructure here, please understand infrastructure creation is work of release team. Infrastructure creation is nothing but a process of a release team. Release team will create the infrastructure here, AKS. But what we need our resources to be deployed on where? On a cluster. How we will deploy? In the form of YAML pipeline, in the form of YAML, if I says. So now please remember, so what first thing means, what is my question here? My question is, what and all we have to manage within our version control? Of course, we will get code. Source code we will get. What I'm saying, we will get source code. Source code written by whom? Source code written by developer. Those source code, whether that is monolithic application, whether that is microservices, that application code, built-in code, we will get there. So as soon as we got that code here, so what will be now my workflow here? In this workflow, what I need, straight away, as soon as I got source code here, my two process will initiate, as you people knows, or can I say, I will start creating the pipeline. What I will start? I will start creating the pipeline. Under pipeline, I will perform two tasks here. Continuous integration and continuous delivery. Continuous delivery is nothing but you are delivering your microservices on a cluster called AKS cluster. You are delivering that application. What about in build process? What about in build process? In build process, because I can deploy, if I'm talking about cluster here, cluster will deploy resources in the form of pod, in the form of container, and that container we are going to create from the image. So what we are going to build here? We are going to build the image. So usually from where we are taking an image? We are taking an image from Docker Hub, but we are not going to get customized application from the Docker Hub. So what will be the story? So there will be another story here that is called Docker file. What we are going to get? We are going to get a Docker file, and that Docker file will be saved where? Here. What I'm saying, first thing here, there will be a code here. Second thing, there will be a Docker file here. Because from Docker file, we are going to create what? Images. From Docker file, we are going to create images here. So this is what we are going to get. Or otherwise, what I am saying, if I take you people now here, third way here, what I have, I need manifest. What I need? I need manifest file. I need YAML manifest file here, right? By using YAML manifest file, what we can do? We can deploy application into the cluster environment. So what is my take here? What you have to understand? You have to understand this thing here. You have to understand what they will ask you. They will ask you what and all resources you have to manage within your, what and all resources you have to manage within your source code management. What and all resources you have to manage within your source code management. So now here, if I go here, this is official. I have shown this already, I think one time. So what I am saying, this is written in microservices, right? This is a, means what this is? Composed of how many microservices? 11. Who is written this? Google Cloud. Now what I am saying, this is a combination of these many microservices here, right? This is a combination of these many microservices here. These many microservices here. Now what I am saying, so here, these are how many microservices here? We have 11 microservices here. So this application is created by using 11 microservices. Now think what I am saying. Now here, what is a specialty? What is a positive thing of using Kubernetes deployment here? Usually what we was doing, how we was creating a CI/CD pipeline. We was creating continuous build, right? Integration. During build, what we was doing? So whatever the library and dependencies we required, that we was installing on a server. Are we doing? I was doing like this, right? Now think here. You are creating something by using microservices. So what will be your library and dependencies here? If I say is Go, C#, Node.js, Python, .NET also I think. Yes, Python, Java. So these many things you have to install where? Onto your server. this is problematic, I think, right? So many things you have to install. But please remember, in microservices environment, you no need to install this on your underlying host. In AKS environment, you no need to install these things on your host or your server. Please take a note of this. Then this is the advantage of using this, right? But this is okay, we will get interface, that is okay. This interface we will get like this, that is okay. But what is a noticeable thing here? Noticeable thing is nothing but if I go to the release pipeline here, in a release pipeline, what we have? We have a Kubernetes manifest. What do we have? We have a Kubernetes manifest here. So what I am doing here, now here in Kubernetes manifest, please take a note. What I am saying, how many microservices I have? 11 microservices. So how many deployment will be there? 11 deployment. You have to write how many deployment like this? 11 deployment. Right? First thing, because email service, of course, this is what? This is for email services. This is your selector. This is your label. This is your metadata. Under spec section, what? If you are going to run some specification that very specifically replica will take, you can do. Now for scaling up, what you will do? Suppose you want many replicas of email here. What you will do? You will add replicas, right? So means email services will be served on a different pod. So it can handle huge workload. That is what we need to understand. It will handle huge workload here. Then after this, what I am saying here, like this, then what we need? We need a service also, right? We need services to connect with what? Email. Email services we need, right? So like this is what? We need service. What we need here now? What we need, please? So we have microservices. How many? 11. These microservices pod will talk with one in another through cluster IP service. So we need cluster IP service as well. And I want to expose front end. What I want? I want front end to exposed on where? External world. So what I need? I need load balancer service also, right? I need load balancer services also. Means what I am saying, these things can be mentioned in the form of a Kubernetes manifest.yaml. So here you can see here, this is now here what we got. We got recommendation service. Apart from recommendation services, we got our service called cluster IP because we need internal communication, right? So this is what. So these are the things which we need to understand. This is a front end, and here if I say front end is nothing but a load balancer, right? Because front end I will convert as a load balancer. First means your request will go to where? Front end. Front end will be your load balancer. Then internal communication will be through a cluster IP. Means this is my one microservices. These are my one microservices. If I am creating replicas, why I need replicas? For scaling purpose, right? Suppose more number of users are coming, so I should be in a position to serve those number of users, many number of users, right? So now here, what user will talk to the load balancer service.